So I have 4 questions for Martha that I want you to hear about this morning. And the first is, I just want you to tell us about your situation.
Okay.
So why don't you do that to begin with?
And can you all hear me if I hold the microphone like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with a very rare, aggressive, advanced ovarian cancer a year and 3 months ago. As soon as I started learning about it, what I learned first was that I had a 75% chance of dying within 5 years. The next thing I learned was that I had the most aggressive form of it. So I did 1 chemotherapy last spring, which was a nightmare, and was told I was in remission, which I believe I was. And then I recurred 6 weeks later. In other words, the cancer came back 6 weeks later. Then I did another chemo, which didn't do much to make the cancer go away, it just kind of slowed it down. And it got to the point where my doctor was like, look, it's going to need to change treatment or stop treatment. So I had been thinking about it for a year because I knew that at some point the question would be when to stop treatment, not if to stop treatment. So I ended up making that decision on December 31st. So in terms of my status, I feel like Pandora's box physically, but emotionally and spiritually I'm doing better than I ever have been because God's taking really good care of me.
Well, why don't you, I know this story, so I know what to ask. Tell us about December 31st.
On December 31st, I was in the midst of 36 hours of spiritual, physical, and emotional agony because even though I knew I was going to need to make this decision, I was actually now having to make it with finality. So I was lying in my bed, I'd been awake all night, and I was lying in my bed just begging God to show me what to do and begging for mercy. And he reminded me of the verses in John 14 where he says to his disciples, I'm going to prepare a place for you and I'm going to come take you to be with me. Do not let your hearts be troubled, do not be afraid. And so I was like, well, that's cool. I started thinking about that and I was like, that's pretty encouraging. And then as soon as I started thinking about it, God spoke to me and he said, Martha, I have prepared a place for you and I'm coming to take you to be with me. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. As soon as I started thinking about that, it was like, Martha, I've prepared a place for you and I'm coming to take you to be with me soon. So, bottom line, on December 31st, Jesus came to me and he overwhelmed me with his love for me and filled me with his peace, which enabled me to make that decision.
The decision to stop treatment?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He told me he's coming for me, so.
Yeah,
Pretty excited.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So tell me about the last 3 months. What has that been like? And
It's really hard to summarize. Bottom line, I'm experiencing more physical symptoms of the cancer growing, and I'm also experiencing rapidly increasing excitement about heaven because it's going to be awesome. I've been learning a lot about it from a book I've been reading called Heaven by Randy Alcorn. It's been extremely, extremely encouraging and hope-giving. And let me make sure I don't forget anything. I have an unbelievably clear sense of God's peace. I also have a lot of impatience with the process I'm in just because obviously I don't know when Jesus is going to come for me. So that can be hard. But I have complete confidence in his keeping his promise because he has guided every step of the process up till now, so I know I can trust him to guide the rest of it.
Yeah, good. Okay, you're right in the middle of this Easter celebration, resurrection celebration. What does that mean for you this morning? I mean, how does this impact you?
Well, my first thought at any major holiday, event, whatever time marker, is this my last one? After that, my next thought, bottom line for Easter, is it's the greatest example we will ever have, maybe not ever have, but the greatest example we have so far of God keeping his promises. He promised to send a Messiah who would cover our sin. He promised to have mercy on us in our failure and our weakness and our suffering. He promised to never leave us or forsake us. He promised he would be resurrected and show himself to his followers. And Easter is the fulfillment of all his promises. So for me, it's an exciting day because of all of that, and also because I know he's going to come back and I'm going to get my new body, and it won't have any of the effects of sin and the fall and cancer that's a result of all of that.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is that helpful? All right, why don't you just say for us, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed.
Read your verses.
Okay. I have a paraphrase of Hebrews 2:14 that I tried to write kind of in my own words so it would be more, easy to understand for some of us. Since we have flesh and blood, Jesus too shared in our humanity, so that by his death he might destroy him who holds the power of death, that is the devil, and frees us who all of our lives have been held in slavery by our fear of death. And then 1 John 4:18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear,